All right, letter G. Tricky, but one of my favorites. So let's line up with the margin or the next letter, depending on your situation. These should be drawn with an H pencil using very little pressure. In the video, I am making mine dark so you can see. And here are the 4 spaces for my G. I know my margin is little, don't mind it. I'm just trying to kind of save paper as I demonstrate. Okay, so a G. I like a nice curved G. So we're only going to draw like the top half, and then we're going to move it. But again, remember that good block letters are a uniform width. So it has to stay the size of the block letter. So I'm going to use the block letter and draw a diagonal. That's 3/4 inches. Because it's a diagonal, it's not going to hit both ends. And I'm going to start to make my curve. So I'm going to start from the middle of the letter, which is, 2 spaces. And I'm going to draw a curve to fit to reach. I think this is a little too straight. To reach across from the center to the where I just drew my diagonal. So I can clean out these lines. Looks a little bit funny on the video, but it looks a little better. I think this isn't round enough. Let's see. It looks a little too flat here. Then that means that I have to change, I think, this curve a little. Looked kind of flat to me. You just sort of sketch it out nice and lightly and play with it until you get something that you like. Okay. Something like this. Okay, now I'm going to curve the other side of this. Going to make a curve from the center. Again, you want to sketch really lightly. I just need you to be able to see what I'm doing in the video. And so I'm going to have this come around. You could see I'm starting to form my G. It does look like this needs to be a little bit less wide. Okay, so I'm going to erase away these. Yours should erase so simply. Now, I know that a G has, I'm sort of calling it a crossbar. I don't know if that's what it's really called, but maybe I want this to be a little rounder back here. So what I'm going to do is, this will make sense eventually. If you're using my ruler, my little ruler, remember again that this is just empty space up here. That is not 0. So I'm going to measure at halfway down, which is It's about 2 inches. It's actually a little teeny tiny bit more than 2 inches in my space based on the way I traced my template. So I'm going to put a mark at halfway. Then I'm going to take my block tracer and I'm looking at the square part, the sort of the bottom, I guess. And I'm going to line it up so that it looks like it's sitting in the video. Because of the angle of the camera, it's really not going to look accurate. But for me, it looks like the middle of the block is lined up with the middle of the mark I just made, the halfway mark. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this in now, I think. My camera's sort of in the way. I'm using a T-square. So I make sure this is really straight because in technical drawing. Okay, so I'm going to draw across space 4 and space 3. And then on the bottom, you could do the same thing, even though I know that I'm not going to need it to go into space 4, but we'll rock with it. Oh my gosh, that line is in the wrong spot. What the heck did I do here? I thought I didn't slide the T-square down. Hold on, I'm sorry I just traced the other side of it. I'm really losing it. Okay. Oh, camera is totally out of position. Sorry. Okay, there we go. So I need this space for my G. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of tracing paper and a piece of tape about the size of a finger. I'm going to touch it a lot to just get some of the stickiness off, or put it on your shirt, get some lint on it. All right, now I'm going to try to line it up with my guidelines. Tape it down so it's not in the way of my letter. And you don't want to use an H pencil because you need this part to be dark. So if there's a B pencil, or just use a regular pencil and press hard. If this is not dark, it will not transfer. Okay, so now I'm going to peel this up, save the tape so I can reuse it. And I'm going to flip it like this. And line it up. Here we go. Here we go. It was like way off here. So I'm going to tape this down. I do have a pen handy. I like to use a pen because you need this to be applied. You don't have to trace this letter because this curve is going to come up and hit this letter. You don't have to trace this line, this slanted line, because you don't need it on the bottom. You only need it on the top. I'm pressing pretty hard. Let's peel this up, save the tracing paper so you can reuse it, save the tape in case you're going to make another letter that's symmetrical, or if you need another G or C. And I'm just going to fix up the curve here. My curves didn't line up, exactly. I don't know if you hear my dog snoring in the back. here we go. I'm going to clean out the G. I don't need this line. I don't need those little marks, but I drew so hard, I don't even think I'm going to be able to erase them. I am going to keep the guideline all the way at the right edge so I can use it to line up my next letter. But there you go. There is a quote-unquote perfect block letter G.